Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Elite Weather Forecasting. I am your meteorologist, Mr. G. We got to talk about the weather forecast for you guys tonight and tomorrow. There is a lot of bad weather going on out there for your your Thursday evening. Happy Friday coming up, everybody. I hope you guys will have a great day at work as you wrap up your work week. Many of you, but if you might work in a place that you might have to work in the weekend, I hope everything works out good for you as well. All right, so we got some severe weather to talk about over a good portion of the Midwest, the East Coast, and a lot of heat to deal with across the West and to a tropical system across the Eastern Pacific. So let's jump into that weather forecast and take a look at our current conditions. This is the surface map and our current radar. We're seeing thunderstorms from Minnesota. Severe thunderstorm watch currently in effect across the Twin Cities, across Des Moines into Iowa, down through Missouri. We have a cold front across the Mid-South and into the Mid-Atlantic states and into the Northeast New England. So along that cold front, we're seeing showers and thunderstorms, a lot of rain in the Northeast through the Mid-Atlantic states, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, and Kentucky, Tennessee, showers and thunderstorms. Some severe weather as well. We're also looking at some storms here along this trough in the southeast with showers and storms for Atlanta, Savannah, Georgia, and into Florida as well along the peninsula, and showers and storms right along the Gulf Coast and just off the coast there. Some showers and thunderstorms. And finally, across the west, we are seeing some signs of the summer monsoon through parts of Arizona and New Mexico. We do have some elevated thunderstorms in the mountains to talk about, so we are looking at that. But for the most part, across the western half of the U.S., west of the plains I'm referring to the west coast, beautiful weather, but it is hot as hell across the southwest. So Phoenix, Las Vegas, Tucson, Palm Springs, California, triple-digit heat, 110 plus for all three of those areas. So it's very hot out there across the west coast. All right, here is your thunderstorm forecast for tonight across the country. We are looking at thunderstorms from the northern plains, the upper Midwest. These dark colors here is where we have a greater shot at some severe weather. So we're going to be looking at severe thunderstorms from the Twin Cities through North Dakota and South Dakota. And we're going to be looking at severe thunderstorms across the western plains. So Nebraska, western Kansas, western Oklahoma, North Texas, eastern Colorado, extreme eastern Wyoming. We're going to be looking at our potential for severe weather, and we're going to be looking at severe weather across the southern Ohio Valley and into parts of the mid-Atlantic states and into the Northeast, looking at that potential for some severe thunderstorms as well. And then here's a look at current active thunderstorms. And you can tell by the lightning strikes. So we're seeing a lot of lightning here over Minnesota, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and we got a line of thunderstorms out across the high plains of Nebraska. We're seeing a line of thunderstorms, and we have a cluster of thunderstorms across North Dakota and along the border with Canada, and we're seeing those thunderstorms over across the northern Rockies and over Montana. And then check out all the lightning over here. I'm going to stand over here so that I'm in the camera. But look at all the thunderstorms down here across Arizona and New Mexico. We're seeing the monsoon moisture finally start to appear. So it's got some monsoon thunderstorms across the southwest. Now, mind you, a lot of these are dry thunderstorms. It is very dry at the surface. The dew points aren't quite yet over that 55-degree point that we look for with the monsoon, but they are in the upper 30s to lower 40s. But we do have higher dew points elevated in the higher levels of the atmosphere. So we're seeing those dry thunderstorms, and most of the precipitation is evaporating before it hits the ground. So there's the potential for fires across the desert Southwest from some of those thunderstorms out there, okay? And we do have some thunderstorms here across the border with Texas and New Mexico. Not New Mexico, Oklahoma, excuse me, the Red River Valley right here near Dallas, Fort Worth, and Oklahoma City. We're seeing some thunderstorms right there in that region, okay? And then a lot of thunderstorms over here over the great state of Florida. So the Florida Peninsula, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach, Delray Beach, all the way up to Jacksonville. The potential for, or we're seeing those showers and thunderstorms this afternoon already, and through the mid-Atlantic. So more thunderstorms for you folks. So a lot of summer thunderstorm activity taking place out there for your Thursday evening. And we're going to see those thunderstorms here. You can see the thunderstorms on the map and where they are as far as the visible satellite is concerned. Over Minnesota, Iowa, we're seeing those thunderstorms over the desert Southwest, over North Texas and Oklahoma, as well as eastern Colorado and Kansas. We're seeing the thunderstorms down here along the Gulf Coast and across the state of Florida, the Mid-Atlantic, and again in the Northeast. So a lot of thunderstorms taking place out there. A lot of folks are seeing that weather. And how about the tornadoes across Chicago yesterday? Tornadoes were reported at both O'Hare and Midland at Midway Airport, and we saw the potential for tornadoes in the Elgin, Illinois, the northern suburbs of Chicago. So a very interesting day across the upper Midwest yesterday and into Chicago as they dealt with those low-grade tornadoes yesterday. So again, a lot of interesting weather that we got some of that stuff on video, those tornadoes at the airports. And here is our current severe weather alerts. Severe thunderstorm warning is expected, is a severe thunderstorm watch and a severe thunderstorm warning across the Twin Cities. Severe thunderstorm watches here, severe thunderstorms watches across the Mid-Atlantic, so West Virginia and to parts of Kentucky and Virginia. And we have severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in New England. And this is our heat advisories down here across the Texas and the desert Southwest. And we have high wind watches and warnings across the parts of the Pacific Northwest here. This is up in state of Nevada, Northern California, Southern Utah. We're seeing high winds and heat as well as that high pressure builds in across the western United States. So that is our weather watches and alerts right now. Here is our current temperatures. Look how hot it is. I'm going to stand over here. Look how hot it is across the state of Texas. We are looking at those temperatures 115 degrees plus, and we're seeing those 110 plus degrees temperatures across the desert Southwest. Now in Texas, we got a lot of heat index to worry about, so it's really approaching 120 in some places like near Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and Waco, Austin, Texas. We're seeing those really high heat indices in place, and we're seeing it very warm across the state of Texas. Now here is our dew points. We're seeing those very high dew points down here across the deep south along the Gulf Coast. We're seeing those dew points in the mid to upper 70s. We're getting those dew points in the upper 50s to lower 60s here through the Midwest, where we're seeing severe thunderstorms this evening as well. And we're seeing very high dew points in the New England area, in the Northeast, where we're seeing severe showers and thunderstorms, and then across the Southeast. So a lot of humidity, a lot of hot weather, very hot, very humid, a lot of showers and thunderstorms to deal with this evening. So there's a lot of flight delays, a lot of issues with the airports with all of the thunderstorms taking place. And then we have the lot of heat across the Southwest very warm temperatures. Those high heat indices in the near 120 degree range. We're seeing that record heat across the desert Southwest. Highs over 110 for Las Vegas, Phoenix, Tucson, Palm Springs, California. Those temperatures near 90 in Southern California, like LA, and in San Diego as well. So very hot across the southwestern United States as that heat dome sets up. And let's take a look at our forecast for the next 48 hours as far as rainfall. We're going to be seeing those thunderstorms from the central and southern plains through the mid-south, the midwest, the southern Great Lakes, the mid-Atlantic, the northeast, New England, and the southeast, and the Gulf Coast as well. We're going to be seeing showers and thunderstorms. Now, let's remember that thunderstorms are very hit and miss, and just because it's in the forecast, it's no guarantee that you will see a thunderstorm. Thunderstorms are very spotty, so we could see that chance that you will have a thunderstorm. Just always be prepared, because those conditions do exist, as we have that high pressure over the west coast and is creating our jet stream to come in north of that high over the Pacific Northwest, and is diving down into the central plains and then across the southeast, and then being sent back up toward the northeast into New England and eastern Canada, and that is providing the focus for a lot of showers and thunderstorms. If you can notice our pattern here, that we're seeing those storms coming across the central plains, and then across the Great Lakes, and then across the southeast, and then back up toward the northeast. And that's what we're dealing with, because we have the Bermuda high right out here, we have the continental blocking high over the west coast, and we have low pressure over the north, over Canada. So we're seeing those weak storm systems coming in off of the Pacific, moving across the northern Rockies and into the central southern plains, and then across the southeast and out toward the eastern United States. All right, here is a look at some of our active severe weather watches. We got them across the northeast, so upstate New York, western Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, severe thunderstorm watches in place, and we have a severe thunderstorm watch here across the southern end of the Ohio Valley. So West Virginia and Kentucky, southern Ontario, extreme southern Pennsylvania, we're seeing those severe weather watches in place this afternoon or this evening. No tornado watches in place right now, so that is good news. And here is our rainfall expectations. Rain still to come, where we can see up to 2 to 3 inches of rain through parts of the northeast. So Boston, Massachusetts can pick up quite a bit of rainfall still this evening, and this is going to be through the day on Monday. So still a lot of wet weather to contend with across the East Coast, as we have an area of low pressure that is slowly making its way over southern Canada, and it's going to head out to sea eventually as we come into Tuesday. Well, maybe we'll start to dry out a little bit, but until then, we're going to continue with that moisture coming in off of the Atlantic and that area of low pressure moving across the eastern U.S. And here is our flood alerts that we have a flood watch in place through Vermont, New Hampshire, western New Hampshire, western Pennsylvania, parts of Rhode Island, and Connecticut, upstate New York. So if you are near Syracuse and in northern New York, you're going to see the potential for flooding to occur from heavy rainfall. So we do have a flood watch in place, and that will be in place through the remainder of the evening hours and into the overnight. Here is our severe weather threat for this afternoon and into tonight. We're going to be seeing severe thunderstorms across much of the Northeast and New England this afternoon and evening. We do have the possibility of tornado, large hail, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall. It's going to be the primary threats with that, and the more significant threat for those thunderstorms It's going to be up here to the north and across Albany, New York, and upstate New York is where you have the greatest risk for some severe weather this evening. All right, so that their Thursday evening severe threats includes tornadoes, wind damage, as well as large hail. It's going to be possible this evening across the mid-Atlantic and into New England this evening in the Northeast. So from West Virginia through Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, you have that potential for that severe weather tonight, okay? All right, so again, as we get into tonight, we're going to see that. Am I going backwards here? Am I going backwards here? I'm going backwards. Going backwards. Okay, here we go. All right, let's talk about the Midwest. Okay, the central and high plains here. We have a tornado watch in effect here across parts of eastern, southeastern Colorado. So we are looking at that severe thunderstorm tornado watch here. Severe thunderstorm to the north through eastern Colorado, eastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, western and southern South Dakota, parts of Minnesota, and then down in North Texas again. So that's where we're seeing severe thunderstorm potential here across the plains tonight, up into the upper Midwest. And the primary threats tonight: large hail up to 2 inches in diameter, damaging winds, tornado, and heavy rain that could lead to some flash flooding. So please take necessary precautions and pay attention to your weather forecast, okay? So pay attention to your boy, Mr. G, as I keep you up to date on what's going on with that severe weather out there. Okay, we're going to see that severe weather again across this is your forecast for this evening across the upper Midwest, and we're going to see those severe thunderstorms all the way up into the Twin Cities, down to Amarillo, Texas, and North Texas, over into Oklahoma, to Little Rock, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Louisville, Kentucky, and into the Ohio Valley, and into parts of the northeastern United States. So we're going to be dealing with those severe thunderstorms, okay? And so tomorrow, we're going to see those thunderstorms here across the southern plains. So Kansas, Oklahoma, parts of North Texas, we're going to see the potential for some severe thunderstorms, and we're going to see the likelihood of severe thunderstorms for Wichita, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa. We're going to see the likelihood of severe weather. The primary threat is going to be a tornado, large hail, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall will be those primary threats across the southern plains tomorrow. And we have the heat to talk about across the southwest. So Arizona, California, New Mexico, Texas. We have some areas with excessive heat warnings in place where the heat is in the triple digits. And then we have heat advisories in a little bit more mountainous, a little higher elevation area, northern Arizona and New Mexico, where we're going to see those temperatures in the upper 90s, and a little bit higher humidity tries to work in as we're seeing some of that monsoon moisture. But over here in Texas, it's where it's blazingly hot. It's absurd. 110 degrees air temperature, up to 120 degrees heat indices. This is by far the deadly stuff right here in Texas, and again in the metro of Phoenix and Tucson, Palm Springs, California, where it's those triple digit temperatures. That's really dangerous stuff. So please take care of your elderly neighbors, people that they may live alone. Look in on them, make sure they have plenty to drink, that they have a way of cool, they have a fan, or maybe a working air conditioning. So please look in on those folks or people who may be in need, and look out for your neighbors, okay, folks? It's really hot out there. Here's a look at the hazardous heat that's going to be taking place. Look at that. Las Cruces, New Mexico, 107, 116 in Phoenix, 114 in Yuma, 113 in Vegas, and we're going to see that 103 in Dallas, 106 in Midland, 94 in Oklahoma City. These are actual air temperatures tomorrow, not the heat indexes. The heat indexes will be well over 110 degrees for you folks in Texas. Now, Arizona has low humidity, so you don't have to worry about a heat index. That air temperature is pretty much what you got to work with. It's going to feel like every bit of that 116 degrees and for you folks in Phoenix. And then the potential on Saturday for record highs across the area where we are looking at. We're going to see that heat across Phoenix, Las Vegas, Palm Springs, Sacramento, and Tucson. Look at those temperatures up to 116 again for Phoenix and Las Vegas, 110 in Tucson. So it's going to be hot out there across the desert Southwest and the western United States as we deal with all this ridiculous heat. Again, on Sunday, that record heat potential, again, as it's going to be triple digits, really, really hot out there. All right, we got a tropical storm or a hurricane to deal with. We got a Category 1 hurricane, Hurricane Calvin, out over the eastern Atlantic, just off the coast of Mexico, about 150 miles southwest of Cabo San Lucas, moving west at 13 miles an hour, 75 mile per hour sustained winds, a pressure at 993 millibars, and it is beginning to show signs of weakening as it makes its way toward into the western, more central Pacific, and we're seeing it at its maximum will be at 90 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning is when it's going to max out, and it's going to hang in there until Saturday morning before it begins to weaken Sunday morning. So we're going to see gradual weakening as it moves off to the west, northwest, and eventually may affect the Hawaiian Islands as a weak tropical system. So we will monitor its progress as it makes out its way toward Hawaii. That is your weather forecast. My name is Mr. G. Thank you for joining me as I'm starting to improve as far as my COVID is concerned. Maybe starting to feel COVID seems to be a lot weaker nowadays. It wasn't that bad I didn't really lose my taste got a little bit dull, but I didn't really lose it or any or smell, or I can still smell. So, it's not too bad. Extra days off from work. I get paid for it, no matter. So anyway, thank you for watching my videos today, guys. Checking out this weather forecast. I will check you guys out tomorrow. I'm going to try to get your videos, but I got a lot of homework to do because we're coming to the end of the summer semester. I got finals and a couple papers to write, so I'm going to be a little bit busy, but I'm going to still get a video. Since I don't have to work over the next several days, I'll get videos for you guys as well. So thank you for watching. See you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.